intention of today's session is just to help you to learn more about the various faculties of education programs that are being represented on our panel today.
I'm Vanessa Grafi, and I'm the Manager of Student Services, Faculty of Education. Our office is located actually just around the corner, so it's quite close. We're at 128 Winters College, and our office is open Monday to Friday, pretty much from 9 until 4. So always welcome to come by, ask any questions that you may have, and we'll try to support you through the application process or just general information that you might be looking for. What I can offer about our BED program, one thing that's very unique is that you are already, some of you are already here as York University students. So there's a chance for you to think about the education program concurrently. What that means is that you'd be working on your York program along with your Bachelor of Education program at the same time. And just to plug in, we are going to be taking in applications for next September 2016. So along with your Bachelor of Education degree that you would be gaining over a couple of years, you can also do a specialization. You have an international specialization, which gives you the chance to take courses and perhaps go on an exchange so you can get some understanding of what it would be like to teach abroad. We have a technological specialization. We have a French BED, which allows you to take courses over at the Glendon campus to fulfill the credentials to be a teacher in a French immersion, core French, or French as a second language. And we also have two specializations, one with Indigenous education and another one with Jewish education. So that's some of the uniqueness with the concurrent program. And then we also have a consecutive program, which is for candidates who have graduated with a degree and then can jump in and do 2 years of the BED.
Hi everyone, my name is Jessica and I'm the Enrollment Advisor at Trent University. We are located approximately an hour and a half from here in the city of Peterborough. Our Bachelor of Education program is a small and intimate program with 136 students each year. So your cohort, you'll get to know them really well. You'll also have small class sizes where you'll get personal attention from your professors. In terms of our program offerings, we offer 2 teaching divisions. We have the primary junior, and we also offer the intermediate senior division. And our program is a 4-semester program spread out over 2 academic years. We offer 115 days of placement, so that means that you'll get a lot of hands-on opportunity out in 4 different classrooms over 90 days, and you also get 15 days to do your alternate placement anywhere in the world. And this is a great opportunity for you to explore your passion. So some students are interested in perhaps teaching abroad, so they might head to England or they might head to, say, Honduras. Or some students might be interested in working in educational programs in museums or outdoor education over summer camps. So lots of different hands-on opportunities for you. And we also offer 10 days of literacy placements, tutoring as well. We also offer, our program focuses a lot on social justice issues. So if you're interested on standing up on behalf of your students and helping your students to advocate for themselves in various issues, whether it's, say, gender related or whether it's racial related or whether it's bullying, different issues in schools, we offer a social justice focus to our program. And for something I failed to mention is our teaching subjects. We offer 13 different teaching subjects in the intermediate senior stream.
I'm Cindy Barnes from Western, and I'm the program advisor there. And I work with students beginning at your level and work right through their entire program, and I do a number of different jobs there. Ours is a 4-program term, so 2 years, September to April. And Western is in London. It's about 2 hours from here. It's a beautiful campus. We offer 3 streams available: the primary junior, junior intermediate, and intermediate senior. And there's about 100+ days of practicum plus alternative field experience. Again, there's the opportunity in your alternative field experience in the second half of year 2 to potentially go internationally if that interests you. And we have specialty areas with our new program, which is going to lead into an advanced standing in a master's. So you can, if you're interested in primary junior, working with early childhood education, you'll take some courses during your BEd that then at the end of your BEd, can potentially go on into a master's and finish an online master's program. So at the end of 3 years, you would have both, your Bachelor's of Education and your Master's, and those are available in a number of different areas.
I'm the Academic Administrator at the Faculty of Education at the University of Ottawa. I've been at the university for 31 years, in the field of education for 35, so been around for a while.
Yeah.
So we have a long history of teacher training at the University of Ottawa since 1875, in fact, for our teacher ed training program, and since 1923 for our Formation à l'enseignement program. We offer our program in French entirely and in English. You don't need to speak French to come to the University of Ottawa. You can complete your entire program in English. In the English program, you have the option of completing French as a second language to teach in immersion schools or core French or intensive French schools as well. Within the English teacher education program, you have the option of taking a cohort once you have been admitted to the program. It's kind of a theme under which you will do your complete program. So developing global perspectives is one of the cohorts. Comprehensive school health, another, French, second language teaching, etc. So we have 5 of those cohorts that you choose from once you have been admitted to the program. We offer primary junior, junior intermediate, and intermediate senior, and several teaching options in that field.
I'm Abigail. I'm part of the recruitment for Wilfrid Laurier, specifically for the Faculty of Ed. A personal note is I'm also a recent graduate of Laurier's Faculty of Ed program, so I can really attest to the experience of being in that program. Laurier offers 2 different strands, the primary junior covering kindergarten to grade 6 and the junior intermediate covering from grade 4 to grade 10. And for the JI program, some various teachables that we offer in that as well. Some unique features about Laurier's program is we offer approximately 200 days worth of placement in a school between field day experiences that you'll do during your regular class weeks, as well as block practicums. In addition to that, at the end of your first year, we're offering a new placement called it's a different placement where you can, instead of being in your school that you've been in for the past year, you can do that alternative, be it going into a special education center, an outdoor center, international museum, anything that might be an additional interest to you. We make sure we tack it on the end of that, the end of your first year, so that way you can also, if after those 3 weeks you still want to pursue it a bit more, you have that opportunity too. In addition to that, Laurier really tries to keep up with the standards that are going on in the boards that we work with in the area. We work with 4 different boards: the Waterloo Regional Public School Board, the Waterloo Catholic School Board, the Upper Grand School Board, and the Wellington Catholic School Board. And with that, all of our classes, we try to focus on the what happens to be going on in the classrooms as the time as you're in there. So we really focus on how to incorporate technology into your classes, into your own teaching methods, as well as the concept of interdisciplinary learning, how each subject can be incorporated into one another in the school world.
We offer in our education program primary junior, junior intermediate, and intermediate senior. When it comes to time of admission, we're looking at your last 2 years of university and looking at that point for a minimum of a B average. So overall, B average. It's really based on, let's say, if you're applying for next September, if some of you have already started the process, you're applying, wanting to join us next September, then we're going to look at courses with grades from basically this past summer back, okay? Because we're going to see what you're enrolled in for this fall and winter, but we won't have your grades yet. So we look from the summer back and we look at 60 credits, equivalent to about the last 2 years. So that's for all teaching levels. Then when we look to see if you are going to be a junior intermediate or intermediate senior teacher candidate, we now have to look at what's called a teachable. So for example, junior intermediate, you have a variety that you can choose from. Example, English, history, French, geography. And we're now going to look at your York record and see how many credits you have in that teachable. And you need to have at least 24 credits in that teachable. Some will have grades because you could be enrolled in them this fall and winter, and some of them may not. Those that do have grades, again, we're looking at a B average. For intermediate senior, it's now 2 teachables, okay? And your first teachable needs to be 36 credits, and your second teachable needs to be 18 credits. And again, we're looking at a B average for consideration. A B average here on the York scale is that sort of that 7.0, okay? We do look at C+, just to let you know. That C+ is not the teachable, that would be the overall grade point average. And that's when you may have filled out the supplementary form where all the students are guided to do. And you may have identified yourself as an Access candidate. Access candidates are somebody who sometimes has a unique learning accommodations, other word is a learning disability, or physical or psychological, or some other sort of accommodations that you've had through your studies. And so we will look at candidates with a C+ and put them forward for committee review. It is a committee that looks at the grade point average along with the online supplementary form.
We do require at least a 70% based on your most recent 2 years worth of education. So in your case, it's going to be 60 credits here at York. And then we also require what we call a profile of experience. And with your profile of experience, that's where we'll ask you to outline any experiences that you have that's related to teaching, and from there pick 3 different experiences from that list to then expand and reflect on it in an essay with no more than 500 words. And we'll also request for 2 reference contacts. So out of that 3 experiences that you're talking about, provide us with 2 reference contacts. You don't have to obtain any reference letters at all. Just give us the contacts and we'll contact them later on our own. And your admission is actually going to be weighted 50% on your grades and 50% on the profile of experience. Now, in terms of your degree, we do give preference to students who have an honors degree over a general degree, and someone who has a master's degree will get extra points as well. But that doesn't mean that someone with a general should not apply, because you could have a great experience to then bump up your overall marks. And for that reason, we're looking for a well-rounded student, not just good in grades, but good in experience as well. In terms of your teaching subjects, for your first teachable subject, we do require 5 Trent equivalent credits, which would be 30 York credits. And for your second teachable, we require 18 credits here, with the exception of French. If you're teaching French as a second teachable, we do require 24 credits for that. And if any of you have, say, any learning disability, or if you're interested in filling out, we have an equity admissions form online that you can also fill out as well.
The minimum average that you required is a 70%, and we're looking at the best 10 full courses on your undergraduate when you apply. So we'll look at this time, if you're in your 4th year, the first 3 years, best 10 is what we're looking for. Preference to the 4-year degree, but certainly, again, we will look at the 3-year degree as well. You're welcome to apply with that. And if you have a master's program, we will certainly note your application that you do have that graduate program already. We do have a special consideration form too. Should you wish to fill that out, it's on the website under admissions. You must meet still the 70% minimum, but if you want to bring our attention to anything there, that special consideration form is there for your use. We have the primary junior program, primary junior French, junior intermediate, and intermediate senior. And any degree is fine. With our primary junior program, we're looking for an average on your best 10, and then for some general background credits. And those areas are your English, your math, your sciences, social sciences and humanities, fine arts, health and phys ed. And that's helping prepare you to teach your core day to your elementary students. Junior intermediate, we're offering French, music, instrumental and vocal, and religious education. And then we have a number of teaching subjects at the intermediate senior level. Our primary junior French program, you need 5 full courses in French, 70% average there. And that is French as a second language for teaching core French immersion. Let's see. Number of teaching subjects at the intermediate senior level. Most of them, the first teachable is 5 full courses. The second teachable is 3 full courses. There are a few exceptions, being French and religion in those cases. You can, and when you're applying on OUAC, list your courses in progress that you're taking right now, because you'll be given credit for them. You can take summer courses for us and have your degree conferred in the fall. So if you need to add something, take something, you can graduate, have your degree conferred in the fall. There. What else do we have? experience profiles. So we start with your academics. You must meet those minimum academic requirements, and then we'll go to your experience profile. And it's 3 experiences that you feel are valuable and useful to you as a future teacher. There's no reference letters, and there's no set number of hours. You're asked to provide a referee, a verifier for each experience, and a from and to date, which shows your longevity. On that experience profile form, which you do online on our website, and you can do it at any time once you've finalized your OUAC application, you're also going to select your special interest area where you're going to do some additional coursework, and that's going to lead into your master's. So you're going to, after you've done your 3 experiences, told us a bit about why they're valuable and useful to you as a future teacher, then you're going to choose your special interest area. And there you can provide us 3 options. We suggest you do at least 2, and you rate them, first, second, and third choice. And that will give you some additional coursework during your Bachelor's of Education. That's submitted online. Everything is due December 1st.
For U of O, you need, we look at 2 things. We look at your average based on your best 20 or 1 session courses and your experience. So it's 50-50. In terms of divisions, primary, junior, there are no specific course requirements. However, we do recommend that you have a well-rounded education and that you touch on all of the subjects that you would teach at the primary, junior level. In the French primary, junior level, we do require that you have 6 courses in French, either literature, linguistics, grammar, etc. And there is a French test as well that you have to pass to be admitted to this program. For junior intermediate, we require 6 courses, so 6 one-session courses or 3 full courses in the teaching subject you have selected. There are about 10 teaching subjects. In the intermediate senior level, we require 30 credits or 5 full courses in your first teaching subject and 6 half courses or 3 full courses in your second teaching subject. And again, there are approximately 13 offered. In terms of experience, there is an online form that you complete once you've submitted your application to the teacher education program. You will receive an acknowledgement email where you will have a link to complete the experience profile, and if you're applying to French, to also register for your exam. The experience profile is a series of 5 questions, so what we're looking for is responding to these questions to each component, in fact, of the questions, such that you get a score of at least 70% to be considered in the application pool. Questions on diversity, on teaching something to someone, on the qualities of a good teacher. So you should demonstrate that you have the experience in this field and that you are a potential good teacher for the BEd program.
We will be weighting your application 50-50 based off of your academics and an experience profile. To talk a bit about the academics, we will be looking at your last 10 whole credits, 20 half credits, and I don't know the rest of how that translates. Marks that are completed by December of this year. So basically anything from the summer term and back. We're looking for an average of 70%. Unfortunately, if you do not meet that requirement of 70%, your application will not be looked at. That said, you have that, you've got your foot in the door. There's no real favoritism over a 3-year program, 4-year program, or a master's. However, points will be given to your application if you have a 4-year, and additionally if you do have a master's as well. For primary junior, there's no major specific requirements for the program, but again, if you have a breadth in additional subjects, be it the art, music, math, science, language, etc., your application will be given those extra points to boost up your academic standing. The only requirement for that is if you're going to consider that part of showing that breadth, it has to be a half credit, and you have to have passed it. For the junior intermediate program, our teachables are outlined in our booklet in the back. For the teachables, you only need to have 3 whole credits that average to 70%. And with that, with each teachable, there might be some unique specifications for them. So for example, if you're going in for history as your teachable, we ask that 1 whole credit be Canadian history. We do offer a supplementary form you can fill out. If you have any kind of disability that you want to share with Laurier, or if you also come from Aboriginal descent, because we offer accommodations, and also we reserve certain spots for First Nation students. To talk a little bit about our experience profile, it's divided up into 2 parts. The first part is outlining 3 experiences where you've gotten to demonstrate some kind of teaching skill or talent, and that can be in any kind of format, be it volunteering, tutoring, in your job. That's your chance to really kind of outline what you bring already to the plate as a teacher. For those, the only kind of requirement reference-wise we have is just outlining who your supervisor was and their contact information. That way, if we need to, we can double check you actually did do it. In addition to that, the second part is just an additional information area where you can talk about other experiences that you didn't outline in the first 3 that you want Laurier to know about, any awards, other volunteering, if you speak any other languages that you want us to know about, that's where you can outline it there. The especially nice feature though about the experience profile is it's all done in point form. No essays, you don't have to use full sentences. The only catch with that is that there's a proper spelling and grammar. Laurier is their key thing that they're looking for in the experience profile specifically is diversity. Demonstrating any kind of different ages you've worked with, learning exceptionalities, English as a second language, showing that you have that diverse ability to interact as a teacher. And with that as well, bonus points kind of are given if anywhere where you can really demonstrate that you were the one who created or facilitated some kind of learning experience, or where you were the leader and showing some kind of knowledge. With that, you can really have any kind of experience on there. I know for myself, I did volunteering, I was a tutor, and I mentioned that I worked at Disney. And somehow that helped out.
One of the things that students have difficulty with is the experience profile. So we're asking a series of questions, and each question has different components. You're scored on each one of those components, and if we're asking for 5 examples, give 5 examples. And if we're asking to demonstrate that you have the qualities, you have to demonstrate with 5 different examples that you have the 5 qualities. So I would say that quite a few students do not pay enough attention to that component of the evaluation process, and so that is where you should spend some time.
Again, mostly on the experience profile. We like that one experience be current, so if possible within the last 2 years. Keep that in mind. And the most common spelling and grammar counts.
A lot of students tend to just state what they've done. So remember the 3 experiences that I told you that you have to expand on. Don't just let us know, I did this, I did that, and that's it. Tell us, what did you learn from it, and how can you apply those skills into the teaching field? What are some of the transferable skills that you've learned that you could then use as a teacher? I've seen some students who used their experience working in McDonald's, and you're like, what? And the student was like, well, at McDonald's, I learned to manage the employees. I learned really good communication skills. So applying it to the classroom, you get classroom management, at least a little bit of classroom management skills. You also learn how to communicate with students and their parents. So reflect on your experiences and tell us more than just what you did. And one tip in terms of grammar and spelling is to do it on a Word document. Make sure you spell check it. Some of us do online submissions. Do it on a Word document and then copy and paste after you spell check everything.
We have an online supplementary form that you'll be guided to. It's on MyFile. So many of you that remember MyFile, when you joined York University, we're going to direct you back there again. And that's where the supplementary form is going to be sitting. We have experience summary, experience hours, how many hours have you worked or volunteered, age-related, not age-related. And then there's a personal statement, which I describe always as that warm and fuzzy, why do you really want to be a teacher? They like to see a nice flow. They want to get to know you through the supplementary form because we don't host interviews anymore. So looking at the supplementary form and making those summary hours and those experiences and then roll it into the personal statement so they can truly get a feeling of all those little things. Maybe this is the reason why you're now wanting to consider being a teacher. We also ask for 2 references. These are online references. Again, through My File, you're going to put the referee's name and email, and they're automatically going to get an email sent to them with questions, what they're going to talk about you now. So think about the 2 referees that you're going to ask. Certainly, you know, if it's somebody, a teacher, and you've had the chance to be in their classroom volunteering after school, you're very fortunate, and try to use that referee, that teacher to be your referee, because hopefully you're going to talk about that in your supplementary form. The other referee, you know, maybe not a teacher, it may have been a supervisor, and it's not your mother and it's not your aunt. So just to let you know that, okay, no mummies writing references. But somebody that can see you working with kids or adolescents. I always get the question about babysitting. Can I have, you know, the family that I babysit? Well, if it's sort of the on and off evenings, probably not. But sometimes you've got a babysitting job which is throughout the summer. And if there's activities that you've been doing with the kids, taking them on a bus, going to a library, you know what, then maybe that parent could be a good reference for you, because they've seen all the things, all the plans, not quite lesson planning, but all the plans. So again, I can't say it enough, the referees, or the committee likes to see a flow. They want to get to know you through the supplementary form. And yes, do spell check and grammar check and have somebody else check it for you.
So you had mentioned that 24 credits counts for teachable
For junior intermediate.
and
yeah.
for intermediate senior?
Because intermediate senior, you're now going to have two teachables, which is pretty much the same as everybody here. First teachable, we seem to be the higher ones, 36 credits, okay, so 6 equivalent to like 6 full courses or 12 half, so 36 for your first, and then your second is 18, so it's much less. What we do when we review, depending on the number of applications, is that if we see that you put down your first teachable as, let's say, history, but when we look at your transcript, we don't see that 36, but we see it in another program or more courses, we'll reach out to you and say, I think we're going to make a change here. So it does not have to be your major or minor. It usually is your major, right? Because that's where you have the bulk of the courses. But example, York being a very large liberal arts university, you know, the psychologies, the social sciences, and you might have a lot of those. Well, where are they going to fit into? Well, sometimes it's going towards social science general as a teachable. Sometimes it's going towards family studies as a teachable. But going back, no, it does not need to be your major or minor. Education does not prefer a prof. Profs see how well you do in your class, and you know, if it's a very hands-on course, right, maybe some of the studio works, maybe some of the labs, and they can speak to your skills of working and getting other students involved and so on, but traditionally not at the BEd level. It'd be great for graduate.
It's how you talk about your experiences, and in order to demonstrate that you have a variety, you will want to have a number of hours, but it's not 1,000 hours, it's not 600 hours. It's, you know, demonstrating that you've had a commitment to education, and that you've wanted to be doing this for a while, and that you've done things in your process, you know, to go that way.
We look for dedication to the field of education. So ideally, we're hoping that you have had an interest in the education field for a while now and have been demonstrating through work or volunteer hours, or maybe even your personal experience as well. We don't have any specific hours. And ideally, hopefully it's not hours that are just based on this year because you're applying. Hopefully it goes back beyond.
We do have a very small section where you can outline how many hours you have worked in it, but it's not the main emphasis. Again, it's going on the quality of the experience. Again, that said, you wouldn't necessarily want to use something where you did it for a half hour once. It's not the greatest demonstration of your skills, but it's not something that you need to worry about reaching a certain quota.
There's a from and to date. So we're looking again for your longevity, your committed interest in being a teacher, and an experience that has set you on this path to being a teacher, but no set number of hours.
At Trent, you can definitely use your high school experience, because I'm sure you've gained a lot of experience in high school, and that continued on throughout your university career. So by all means, put that in.
I might recommend looking for that Part A with the 3 different experiences to outline, looking at something a little bit more recently to attest to the skills you have right now. But that's something, again, you can add to that Part B of additional information, so that we really do get that glimpse of that longevity you have for this passion.
We ask that one be current, 2 years.
At Trent, with our BEd program, the only exception where you can do your AQ course within the program is if you're interested in teaching in a French immersion school. Yeah, so you're able to do that AQ course as part of your curriculum so that by the time you graduate with your BEd, you're able to teach straight away in a French immersion school.
It's in the month of May that we offer that to students. So you could either be in your first year, now going into your second year in that month of May, you do it, or you do it at the final point when you're ready to graduate. Through the Professional Development Office, the opportunity for you to teach in the separate school, the Catholic schools. So we don't have it as a course in your 2-year BEd program, but you can dip in and take that course almost like an additional qualification. And you do that at some point through your 2 years. So it gets I'll use the word, gets your foot in the door to teach in the separate schools.
We have a section of the experience profile that I think it's section C. Depending on, you don't sell yourself short in that experience if you're not using it as one of your experiences of 3 experiences. A principal, if a principal's reading your profile, you're bringing value to his school. He's looking for someone to coach his soccer team, and you're a varsity soccer person. Yeah, include it in Part C for us because it brings value to a school.
If you want to define it as that teachable moment you had during that time, or if you just want to make sure that we know about it. Most of your courses that you're going to be taking this year of applying are not going to count towards your average. Those will mostly count towards either just confirming that you have completed your undergraduate degree, and some of the courses you're taking this term, if specifically for Laurier, if for your teachable, if you wanted to include them to calculate that average, we can make an exception there, but that's the only place where we have that exception.
This year's courses would not count for the average, but they would count for the teaching options.
One of the conditions would be at the time that we were reviewing you in the fall, you hadn't graduated. Now it's June, maybe even following October. So we need confirmation usually by the summertime, or at least a letter from the registrar's office to show that you've convocated at least of next June or by October of that fall. That's one type of condition. Another type of condition that we have is we will assess based on unofficial transcripts at this point. But if you are admitted and you accept and you join us, you need to present an official transcript next spring or summertime. Another condition is that you've met the teachable requirements with the credit.
It's a police record check.
Yeah.
that
Oh,
we
yes.
have to have,
Yeah.
and so
What percentage of your graduates from your program are successfully transitioning into the field upon graduation? How are students in your programs finding jobs? Is it through connections that they have, through networking, through their practicum, websites? And what support does your institution provide? And then in what alternative occupations are some of your graduates finding work?
I'll be honest, we don't have a percentage right now. We don't grab statistically how many of our graduates are getting jobs. Alumni may have some of that information. In fact, sometimes career services gathers that information from us. We're going to be honest and say not every graduate is finding a job in the next month or two. What I do get, because we're a close program, we're a small faculty, by the way, we're one of the smallest here at York University, so we really do get to know our students and they keep in touch with us. So what we're hearing from them is, they're getting supply opportunities, so it's a nice way for them to go, yes, in and out of schools, but get to know principals, vice principals, and teachers in other places. Some of them are going into international teaching. The Ontario Bachelor of Education degree is very well received abroad. And you still become a member of the Ontario College of Teachers. So when you graduate, we all nominate you, wherever you graduate from, to the Ontario College of Teachers. And so that certification looks great in going overseas. Some of the stories I've heard is it's not just teaching English as a second language. I think that's what we all jump to. Oh, you can go over and just teach English to people that don't know how to speak that language. But in fact, our graduates are going off to teach at American schools, British schools, some of the Indian schools too that are internationally located around the world, and they're teaching their teachables, history, English, math, teaching primary, junior, and they're taking on these jobs for a couple of years. It's also a great way for you to travel if you've got that travel bug. Other jobs that our graduates are going into, which is surprisingly is in training, HR training, coaching, because they're very good at lesson planning. That's what we all are here to give you over your couple of years, is a way for you to present information clearly, make it engaging, make it exciting. And so some of our grads are working for banks actually as trainers. Municipality, running recreation centers. I know a couple of our grads. One's been hired through the Brampton municipality and running all of the recreation centers there. So there is a wealth of opportunities, and some are going on to grad school too. So the BEd and the curriculum that they've been taking is also quite well received, especially in our Masters of Education program.
We offer career days where school boards around the area will come in, and that's where you're able to network with the school boards and then apply for jobs offered within the school boards as well. And a lot of our students, when they're out there doing their practicums, we find that they themselves would network with the schools, and some of them would end up being employed by the schools. And we find that a lot of students who graduate with high needs teachables, so teachables like math, physics, French, computer studies, chemistry, those kind of teachables, they are pretty much employed straight away. After graduating, some of them are even offered a job while they're in their last semester doing their practicums as well. And then to echo as well, a lot of our students who are willing to travel might go abroad. We have 2 students who are teaching in 2 separate Canadian international schools in Malaysia. So it follows the Ontario curriculum. They are part of the OCT, and as a result, they're still following the Ontario curriculum and not losing out in a different experience. We also have students who've gone further up north in Ontario or to other provinces as well. One of my friends, Andrew, is actually up in Nunavut. Another friend of mine, Lindsay, is up in Manitoba. So if you're willing to travel to different provinces, you could also get jobs there. And also in different areas, whether it's organizations, we've had a graduate who ended up working with Free the Children to educate students across Canada on what Free the Children is and We Day and some of the programs that they run. So that's also a pretty cool teaching experience in schools, but in a different way.
Well, pretty much the same. Internationally, there's a huge interest in the teachers. UK, all over Dubai. They're going on into a wide curriculum. They're going on to a wide range of things. Museum work, because even the person who works at the Science Center, who's designing the grade 7 tour that's coming through, probably has their Bachelor's of Education, because they're matching the Ontario curriculum to that tour they're bringing through. So the museums are always doing those kinds of work information too. So lots of wide areas. I've heard health sciences students wanting to go into the community teaching within the health units and into the community teaching area. They want them to have that Bachelor's of Education to provide that base to do community teaching within their health sciences network. So lots of different areas that they're going on into.
With all the community service learning that students are now doing in our 2-year programs, in addition to the 80 days of practicum minimum, I think students will have a lot more contacts in the schools and many opportunities to be known by the school principals, and so perhaps many more opportunities will come up. Of course, with the job market, it's going to change. I mean, today we're graduating half the number of students we were graduating, and this year we're hardly graduating any students because
in between, right?
For the 1-year program is turning into 2 years, and for 1 year there will be hardly any graduates. So the overflow of grads who are now qualified will eventually find jobs, and the new ones will find jobs more quickly, I think. Just to add to everything that's been said, French as a second language is a well sought after qualification across Canada. People are, they're hired before they graduate in this program.
Some of the unique things Laurier does during the time that you're at school, we normally on the Fridays when you have class, we also offer different workshops to help you get prepared for the workforce you're about to enter. Sometimes even principals come in from the different school boards to kind of help you, walk you through what they're looking for when they're doing interviews, to help you prepare that way. And in addition to that, to anything about kind of other opportunities in the teaching environment, I'm living proof that there's other stuff that you can do. It's because of going through the Bachelor of Ed program that I was able to get this recruiting job, that I was able to get my other part-time job working as a program coordinator for a church in Kitchener. And that's not just limited to that. Anything where you get to develop and program something for any kind of age group, having that kind of certification behind you is going to open more doors than you can possibly imagine.